Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Show. It is August 23rd, 2018, Thursday. So it was an interesting market day today again. We'll give everybody a chance to sign on while we flash you the numbers for the day. Interesting day. Huh? Very, really kind of weird up and down. But while we're doing that, while you're checking out the market numbers and we're waiting for people to sign on, don't forget to read the disclaimer. Past performance is no indicator of future performance. We are not registered investment advisors. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Nothing in this show is an offer to buy or sell any security. Please read the rest of the disclaimer at the bottom of the description. Good habit to get into. Reading the disclaimer, you find out all kinds of good stuff. So wow, everybody's on it. Look, we got a bunch of people already. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome again. It's Thursday, so it's kind of an interesting day today, right? Kind of an up and down day. The final numbers ended up being the Dow down about 76 points, the S&P down about 5, and the NASDAQ ended up red. After having kind of an up and down day, it ended up down 10 points. Yeah, not even a 0.25%. So really nothing dramatic there. Hey, Norse, Zavar, all you guys, welcome. It's hurricane day, so I'm going to make it a quick show today. Hurricane Lane is kind of boring down towards the islands. It turned into a slow-moving hurricane for you, those of you that are interested. And so that's the concern, is the slower it moves, the longer it sits over an island, the more the flooding it causes and infrastructure damage. So that's the big concern right now. Looking out the window here in our beautiful Kalihi studios, it's a little overcast. We're getting some rain, but the winds are kind of tame. So we'll see how it goes. We have checks and balances in place in case we lose electricity and stuff. So the show will go on. Let's kind of get into the market, right? Hurricane Schmurricane. Some of the big news today was about Google. Cybersecurity is becoming a big thing, right? I mean, we've got all this stuff about Russian hacking and everything. I'll tell you the secret behind it in just a second, my friend, when we get to the comments. But there's a big push on cybersecurity right now, right? And there might be a play in this, there might not be. We've got some better trade ideas we're going to talk about in a second, but basically what's happened is Google started this little cybersecurity division about a year ago, and now it looks like it's ready to actually get involved in the cybersecurity game. It's a $96 billion industry. There's a lot of money to be made in it, and it'd be nice to have somebody with the influence, and the monetary power of a Google to get involved in this. I mean, I know we always get into this back and forth about favoritism and stuff like that with Google and Facebook and stuff, the anti-conservative thing and the anti-liberal or whatever it is. But I think Google in cybersecurity is actually a good idea. Google is very advanced as a technology company, obviously. They have the cash on hand to build these infrastructures and stuff. And so let's see how this kind of plays out, right? The other news today, really kind of some curious articles, and we're going to get into them because one of them actually plays into our trade ideas here. So let me just make a copy here. But first, let me talk about something that's actually kind of curious to us. Hawaii, there's a big article in CNBC. Hawaii made the national news besides Hurricane Lane, and they were talking about our electrical system, our grid. Something that might surprise you about Hawaii, which is kind of really progressive when it comes to sustainability and renewable fuel and stuff, is that we're still running most of our grid off of fossil fuels. There's an interesting article here. I'm going to post it right now about that. And it was for you people that don't live in Hawaii. We just had the primary, and in Hawaii we're about 99.9999999% Democrat. So whatever happens in the Democratic primaries generally is your final numbers for the general election. And we just had a big gubernatorial primary with the current governor Ige against Colleen Hanabusa, who a lot of you might be familiar with. She's worked in Congress and stuff, and she's one of our more recognizable name in politics in Hawaii. And one of the big debate items was By 2045, Hawaii wants to be 100% renewable, sustainable. In the meantime, we've got to keep this electrical grid going, right? While these new systems are put in place and stuff. The big debate was how we should fuel it, whether it's fossil fuel or maybe natural gas or something like that. And it was a very interesting thing. So if you guys get a chance to, go ahead and check out that article. It's pretty interesting. The other thing I wanted to share with you was let's do a little Donald Trump stuff, right? Donald Trump is the best show in town right now, right? I mean, Jesus Christ, they wouldn't be able to sell a newspaper right now if it wasn't for Donald Trump. So look, the curious thing, right? What have we been listening to the last 2 or 3 days with Donald Trump? Cohen flipping on him, Manafort, whoever, right? I guess they've got this guy that's the boss of the National Enquirer. Now they've promised him whatever they need to promise him to get them to say whatever they want him to say, which is the danger, right? Are you saying things just to get a easier sentence? Are you making things up? Or is this actually the truth? So Donald Trump, in his usual flair, came out and he wants to make it illegal. Yeah, more like a, you bet, Savar. But let me post you this link because Donald Trump, you know, you got to love the guy. He's just a mile a minute, man. You know, at his age, think about it. At his age, I mean, there's times when we get up at 2 o'clock in the morning in the trade room in Honolulu and we'll see him on TV doing something. And by the time 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll see him just running a hellacious rally. The guy's like the Energizer Bunny, right? I mean, where does he get this energy, man? And with all the attacks on him, where does he keep that spirit going? Yeah, there's some inspiration in here, whether you like him or not. But, you know, Donald Trump, and as always, you know, he never walks away from a fight. And he came right back and he wants to make flipping illegal. So let me post this article here for you. You guys got some time. Go ahead and check that one out, too. That's entertaining. That's just classic Donald Trump, right? Yeah, you know, love him or hate him, man. He's a great fun. But let's kind of get into our trade ideas, right? Because let's don't make it too long of a show in case you never know, the roof flies off or something, the whole Wizard of Oz scene. But let's talk about some trade ideas because we've been talking about, like we talked about the brokerage stocks. They kind of got hit 2 days ago when that JP Morgan news came out about their free app and blah, blah, blah. Look, it's nothing different than Robinhood. Okay, if you want a free app, at least go to Robinhood, get the free stock. You know what I mean? We thought it was a gimmicky idea. So we've been kind of watching brokerages, but they've kind of flatlined. The market's kind of working against them. There's already negative sentiment in it. It combines with the negative sentiment of the market to a certain extent. And it's just not the play right now, but we'll keep an eye on that. But there was an interesting article on CNBC this morning. And let me share that with you because it was about 5 stocks have been left out of this bull market rally. And they one of the key points was, and this plays into what we've been talking about, right? We just started, all our members will tell you, we just took up some positions. We're looking for a gold reversal. Gold, by the way, had a little rough of a day today. But, you know, after 2-3 days gains in a row, hey, we give a little bit back. We take another level, give a little, you know, it takes a rest. Nothing goes straight up. Too many emails use that dangerous word parabolic. You never hear us say parabolic. We're looking for consistent wealth building. You know what I mean? We'll take a 300, 400, 500% gainer, but we know that those aren't always reasonable. Yeah. But so if you read this article, one thing that the guy points out that I forget who was the analyst they were talking to, but one thing he points out is he loves miners. He loves gold miners right now. They're cheap. They're beaten down. They're just ugly. They remind us of banks in 2016, right? In April of 2016, banks were a pariah. In December of 2016, they're the most profitable trade in like 5 or 10 years. So is that what's happening with the miners? Well, he names a couple miners in there, Freeport and stuff like that. But the one we like and we've taken up a position is already ABX, which is the largest miner on the planet. So it's trading right around $10, between 10 and $11 right now. So, if you guys are looking for trade ideas, the miners, man, there might be a big swing coming in that. So you guys keep an eye on it, and we'll keep talking about it. You know what I mean? We like to talk. Those Netflix puts that we talked about last week. Netflix had a decent day today, but the NASDAQ was just up and down, up and down. And before we go to the questions and we get into the closing for the show, let's go over the numbers one more time, because there's some important stuff here. First of all, you see that Dow close. It's not bad. I mean, we're still over that 25.5 level, which is a psychological level, which is okay. On the S&P 500, we're still holding that 2,850 level, which is another important psychological level. But on the NASDAQ, 7,900 is the new top, right? So we tapped that today for a few minutes in that first kind of voracious open, right? That first hour was pretty exciting. We tapped that, so that's kind of a target for the NASDAQ. We'd like to see that take it out as soon as tomorrow. The small caps have been having a good week, but they had a little pullback today, only about 0.25%. But the big one is the VIX. With all this stuff going on in the market and stuff, look at that VIX. It's still at 1238. I mean, my goodness, it's under 13. Gold had a pullback today. The VIX was only up, 1% on with all this news cycle, threats of impeachment, all this stuff going on. It was still... it still stayed below that $13 range. So, we think there's kind of a trend and an indicator going on before we get to the questions. And you can see it in the morning. You see in that first hour, you get that big pop, and then you kind of get the trickle, just that slow slide towards the close. It seems like big money is putting their bets down, and then they're just letting it play out, right? And so, we're still in those Q trades. We're at the 181 strike. It's sat over 181 most of the day. We got that last 10, 15 minutes of selling, ridiculous lemming selling. And so it closed just below that 181, but we're going to sit on those one more day, man. Ooh, exciting day tomorrow. Hurricane, we're trading, man. So let's go to the questions, and see what everybody's saying. Let me go to the bottom here. Yeah. Hey, Norris. Hi to you, all you guys. Norris, Savar, Marco, welcome. Let's start with let's start with the important stuff. My hair. I do have, for the first time in my life, I'll tell you guys a cute story. For the first time in my life, when we started doing this show, I actually put on hair gel, and I don't know. I'm kind of getting into that Guido look, you know what I mean? What is it? Jersey Shore and stuff. Pat the situation. Actually, Pat's been in a situation for quite some time. But anyways, yeah, I'm ready. Savar. Don't worry, man. Regardless of what this hurricane brings, I'm ready. Let's see what else we got here. More like a sideshow. Yeah, absolutely. It's just the whole goddamn thing is just a sideshow right now. I mean, oh my goodness. And you'll I know that, Savar in particular, I know you're a news hound like we are, man. Are you having trouble making any sense out of this? I mean, it just depends on who's talking and what network they're on, right? Everything you watch, you're definitely hearing talking points. You're definitely hearing agenda. But are we getting real news? Again, we're not getting any real news. So I don't know. So do you think he just speaks to get a rise out of people, or is it just his nature to speak with no filter? Probably a combination of it. But what I interpret from Donald Trump is he's a he believes in strength. He believes in the answer to one bully is always a bigger bully. He's never seen a fight he didn't like or think he could win. So yeah, I think it's kind of two things. And I think the liberals have actually created one of this side with him. Is he knows when he puts out a tweet, when he says something, it's just going to start a shitstorm of madness on their side. And I think he does do that to a certain extent, that he'll say things that he knows is just going to inflame them. It's just going to kick off tweeting and everything else. And he does that just to keep them occupied. You know what I mean? Look, What's the easiest way to keep track of your enemy, right? Is this keep them in the same place. He puts out a tweet, everybody goes apeshit crazy. He knows where they are. They're on the news. They're on the news cycle right now. He knows where to find them and stuff. But I also think that he's a very gruff man and he's a very direct man. So to a certain extent, yes, it's just his nature. But I think more so than that, there's a strategy to what he does. I really do. I think there's a strategy to what Donald Trump does with the media. And it's effective, right? He's president of the United States. So looks like that's all the questions. So if everybody's good, hey, and we're still long in steel right now, right? Steel had a little rough day today. I think U.S. Steel had about a 1% pullback. AKS kind of settled back to that 420, 410 level. That's fine. We're just right out of the money on that. But we still like steel going forward. Remember, nothing goes straight up. It's never like 15, 20 straight days of green. What you'd like to see in logical trading is to get 2, 3, 4 days of green, maybe a little pullback, some consolidation, get some new owners in there, some fresh shares, and things like that, and just keep steadily moving up. We talk about it in the group all the time, setting levels for a stock, right? We played these Qs, right? And we got a little bit below 179. Well, it took us a day or two and we set a level at 179. Then we set a new level at 180. And now it looks like 181 is the level. We're just looking for one more push and then we're going to cash those in at a nice triple digit winner. Oh, yeah. Hey, Jeff, welcome. We were just talking about steel. A little rough day today, but let's keep with the trade because there's no reason to back off steel right now. Well, one of the big things is, there's a news article. I'm sorry I don't have a link for it, guys. I'll remember tomorrow's show to bring one. But, he's got a handshake deal with Mexico right now. Mexico just wants to have Canada on board, which is fine. And then he'll have a deal with NAFTA. He'll have a replacement to NAFTA. And what he did with that was instead of making it one group agreement, he broke up NAFTA and then he made a deal with Mexico. And now he's going to make a deal with Canada. Make sure all deals are copacetic and all deals are looking out for the American people, right? So he did that right. We got that news from China today because those tariffs that he set earlier kicked in today and they're official. And then, of course, we got rhetoric from China and stuff. But look, we're rolling into the end of the month and he's got that initial meeting with the ambassadors and stuff for the diplomats. And then he's setting up a big meeting with Z. So there's no reason to back off this steel trade right now. Okay. It's a longer term trade. And you know what? Just like Warren Buffett is, man, if you're worried about it, go have some ice cream or something. It's working. This news cycle really threw kind of a monkey wrench into the market this week. But look, a year ago, this kind of news was sending the market down 700-800 points, right? You guys remember it? Remember April? April was a really rough month, right? One article by any liberal outlet, and that market was down 500 to 700 points. We've had 2 or 3 days of actual convictions, actual news, actual real information. And really, we've only trickled down, 100 or 2 points. And in between there, we've had some real nice moves. So it's really a dull market. And the oldest saying in the market is never short a dull market. So we're going to stick to our guns. We rolled over. We're rolling with this Q trade into expiration day tomorrow. And we're sticking with the steel trade. We're sticking with our finance trade. And we're also sticking with that gold trade. Gold had a little pullback today, but we think that's normal considering it's had like a nice little reversal. So look, you guys, we're gonna call it a show. We'll be back tomorrow for sure. Okay, hurricanes don't scare us. We've been through it all before. But just like Savart, thank you. Thank you for your well wishes, all of you, especially to the members of stockpickprofits.com and hypergrowth accelerator programs. Thank you so much for all the well wishes you sent into the office and sent into the trade team. It's really nice to know that there's people that care. We love you guys, and we'll be back tomorrow. And for all you members, we'll be back first thing in the morning. We might have some updates overnight. Who knows? But we'll talk soon. Okay, gang? Thank you so much for joining us. Aloha.